Hello everyone, Pedro here with CineMilled. I'm super excited to be here today sharing the latest CineMilled Ronin2 accessory. This is our Ronin2 control panel. And it's basically a docking station and a control station for your Ronin2 remote controller. And I'm really excited when I first started working with the Ronin2 that it had a new controller. Some of you might remember the original controller that came with the Ronin, the Ronin-M, and a few other gimbals out there also use this sort of RC style twin stick remote control. And while this might be good for a few people that might be used to it, for the rest of us, it's kind of an awkward controller to use to precisely control a framing. And I always didn't really warm up to it, and I gravitated towards wheels. But joysticks can be very useful in certain situations, and so I was really excited when DJI came out with the Ronin2 with their new controller. It uses this much larger control stick, which is much better to more ergonomic, gives you a larger diameter stick that actually helps you achieve more control. There's speed knobs, and anyways, it's a great controller. And so the only thing I didn't like about it was the ergonomics of it, the shape. It kind of reminds me of an Atari ColecoVision remote control that I had when I was a kid, my first video game. While it's fine for video games, not so great for camera operating. The main thing when I started using this, I'm developing some vehicle mounts, as some of you may have heard, and I'm doing a lot of vehicle testing. And so immediately there's nothing to sort of rest your hand on, it's just, my mind started turning, and I started to think about there's got to be a better way to set this up. It was awkward with the monitor. And so of course we have an integrated monitor mount, and lots of cool features that I'm gonna get into in a second. But one of the things I wanted to sort of demonstrate and share with you guys, it's kind of a small design aspect. The fact that on our control panel, the remote controller is flush mounted, and you have a gel rest pad here for your palm. But I really wanted to illustrate a little bit further in more detail why this is so important. So I invite you to follow along at home and do a little experiment with me. So imagine this is a piece of paper. So you can go ahead and grab a piece of paper, grab a pen or a pencil, and imagine this is a pencil. I want you to grab the pencil from the top of the pencil. And without putting your hand on the piece of paper, I want you to write in cursive, write your name, or write a complicated word. I want you to try to write that as precise and with the best calligraphy that you're capable of. Now, take a look at that word. You're going to see it maybe was a little shaky. The swirls, or if you try to draw a circle, that's a good one. If you just simply try to draw a circle, you'll see how squiggly it'll come out when you try to draw that circle. Now, in comparison, I want you to move your hand further down on the pen or pencil, and I want you to rest the edge of the palm of your hand on the piece of paper. Now try to do the same thing. Try to write out your name or try to draw a circle. See, if even just drawing the circle, you get a lot more control by being able to rest, having that point of contact so that you can keep this stable. So if it's just floating out there, you sort of have a tendency, you can move the control stick when you don't mean to. So that just basically, I hope you can see the difference just by seeing the circle you try to write or the word you try to write. The difference that actually makes is huge. And that's why immediately my first thought was I need to sink this controller into a surface and make it flush and allow me to rest my hand on something. So that's what we did. So what we created here, it has two levels. The controller, you can slide the controller in to either have the stick on the left or the stick on the right, left-handed, right-handed users. And obviously, what's immediately apparent here is that we rotated the controller so that it was horizontal. Now, of course, as you may know, in the menus in the app, you can orient this controller any way you want and make this up and this down, left or right. So don't worry about that. But what that does do for us is you can take one of your hands and use that to control the camera. So it gives you a nice resting pad for the side of your hand and gives you that contact point so you can have a precise input. And then with your other hand, you can actually adjust the pan speed. So maybe if you're trying to pan a car as it drives by, you can actually speed up the stick speed as you're working. So it's readily available. You can leave your hand on it. You can start and stop the camera. You can change the modes. So having it sunk in there is a big factor that actually was sort of the starting point of our design. The next thing is I wanted to integrate a monitor mount. So as you can see here, we designed this sort of high-end monitor mount. We have a dovetail. So now this monitor mount is extra, and the reason why we're doing it like that is we also put a 1/4-20 thread, a threaded hole right here. So if you have a lighter monitor, such as this small HD over here, and you may probably already have an articulating arm of some sort, you just thread that in and you can use your own articulating arm and your own monitor for your monitor, and you don't need to pay for our version. Now, the reason I decided to make a dedicated monitor mount is because I have a heavier monitor. This is my Steadicam Ultra Bright Boland, and you know, the no arms are always slipping. I really am not a big fan of those articulating arms, and this one is extremely sturdy and heavy duty and has that cool dovetail quick disconnect. So this will be an option when you go to purchase. And so the next point of the design is the harness that you see here. So which sort of leads us into, you know, the different ways you can mount and operate this control panel. So first of all, on the bottom, there's a row of 1 inch on centered, of course, 1/4-20 and 3/8 threaded holes. So you can put a tripod plate on here and click it into a tripod, and if it's a ball mount, you can angle it any way you want. You can level it out, and so you can mount this on a tripod. You can, using our Mitchell washer and knob, you can mount this directly on a Mitchell tripod. You can mount this any which way you can imagine using the mounting holes. Now, the other option is to actually body mount it. So we are going to include this harness that you see here. Now, this is kind of a traditional RC style harness, and it works really well. And one of the design aspects we did here on the mounting posts, which of course you can remove if you have this mounted on a tripod, so you don't have to have this on there. But if you're going to use the harness, we have different mounting points for these rings. And the idea is, if you have a really heavy monitor, maybe you have the transmitter on the back of the monitor and then the batteries, then all you have to do is move the attachment ring further down on the arm, and your table is going to stay level. So if you have a really lightweight monitor, you can actually pick it up from the further point, and the heavier the monitor, the further back you pick it up from. So once again, if you're using this on a tripod, you can lose the posts. Just take off the screw. The post comes out, and you have a nice flat panel here, so you can control things. So the other thing that we machined into here is threads, so that you can take, and we're also going to add this as an option when you purchase the control panel, is either an Anton Bauer or a V-lock plate will mount directly to the bottom of the control panel. So, and we actually did many different mounting positions, so you can pick where you want the weight to be. And And so if you have that there, you can take an Anton Bauer battery and slap that on the bottom, and maybe use that to power your monitor, to power your transmitter. So essentially you can opt to add a built-in battery plate. So that's a nice, cool design feature. And finally, we have the shape here. So one of the things I wanted to do is being able to sort of be self-contained and pick this up and go wherever and run over to the gimbal and work on something, and maybe be right next to the gimbal as I'm moving it and then seeing something and making an adjustment. So one of the things we did is, we have this harness system. So you just you click in right there. And because of the shape that we cut this and because of the twin decks, it conforms very nicely to your body. And we can take my monitor right here and slide that into the quick disconnect. And there you have it. So you can, of course, adjust the straps so that it's higher, so that it's lower on your body. Once again, depending on where you pick up from on the mounting points, you can have this either tilt further back or rotate back this way. So the further down, the flatter it gets. And so you can see here, this provides a nice sort of self-contained camera control station that, I can walk up and make an adjustment and pan left and right and take a look right here and adjust something. And then I can walk over to stand next to the director or talk to somebody, and I'm self-contained. So once again, you can have the battery plate on the bottom. And so you can have a Anton Bauer battery mounted on the bottom of this. Of course, you can put it on the back of the monitor if you want also. The monitor mount is fully adjustable. And, the most important thing, though, is now you have a place where you can rest your hand and very accurately sort of control the camera. And, if you have a monitor hood, it goes right here and closes that off. And you can walk around and be mobile and, pick something off the ground, and it's self-contained. On the other hand, this also works, this body mount works really well in a vehicle, which is kind of, the important factor for me is if I'm sitting in the vehicle and now this is, because the bottom is here, it's resting against my knees, yet I can push down and put some weight on here, and it gives me a nice stable platform, and I have everything I need here. I got my monitor, I can have my transmitter, and I have my camera control, and just provides a very nice, stable, centralized control panel for all your for your gimbal. So, anyways, I'm really excited about this. I hope a lot of you guys out there also are. I think once you try it out, you're going to be sold on the idea. Because the remote controller is actually really good, and it really just needed a little bit of our help in order for you to be able to get a little bit more out of it. So just to review, the monitor mount is additional, is not included. You can use your own mount via the threaded hole that's on here, your own articulating monitor mount. It can be, the controller can be mounted either with the stick on the right or the stick on the left for left and right-handed users. There's an option for gold mount, or for Anton Bauer gold mount, or the V-Lock battery plate on the bottom. You can run no battery plate. You can mount this on a tripod. You can remove the stands here for the harness, and to if you have it mounted on a tripod or something. it's just very versatile and self-contained. You got everything you need here to get your shot done, and it's just very comfortable and gives me all the control I need to execute my shot and deliver professional results. So I hope you are excited as I am about this. Honestly, you know, this is such a kind of a, some people might not see why this is so exciting, but for anyone who's done a lot of work in a car, who's done a lot of work out on set, I think you can quickly see how this becomes extremely kind of like a must-have item. So anyways, excited to share this with you guys. This will be up on the website soon, and we're in production, and we have a lot more Ronin 2 products on the way. This is just the first few that I'm getting out there, but we have the vehicle mounts, like I told you, and those are on the way also down the pipe. So anyway, stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We have our CineMilled Facebook group where we share a lot of special discounts, and you can get your questions answered by us and a lot of the people that participate in that group. And anyways, if you have any questions or comments, you can also leave them in the comments below the video. But anyways, guys, I'm really stoked with this Ronin 2, and I'm really excited to create more products like this to make this even better. So I hope you all guys enjoy it, and I'll see you on set. Thank you.